I already feel better just seeing your two faces. Oof.
Yeah,
Thanks for being here.
likewise.
Hi. Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Hi. It's Valerie.
Hi.
Welcome. Thanks for being
Thank you.
here. Let me just hit
Yay.
9:30, so I'm gonna go ahead and put everybody on mute. Not because I don't love you, just to avoid chaos. We have enough chaos right now. So nice to see some familiar faces. I feel like some of you I've gotten to know just over the last week on these Zoom calls. It's really sweet. Thanks for being here. Thank you for the new faces. Thanks for joining us. As we are all arriving, tuning into your own body and your breath. What am I grateful for in this moment? Not far off and distant and grand, but what's simple and here right now? What am I grateful for? And as we are all entering the space, if you want to write what you're grateful for in the chat bar. We could just do a whole class of this. Let's just keep naming things. I'm like, oh, right, and that. Yes. Welcome all. Dogs. So grateful for furry friends. Nikki, I'm really appreciating your coffee mug. Is that a coffee mug? Is that your hot chocolate? Yes, 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 yes. All the yes. Oh, thank you all for being here. Let's just take a moment. If you are new to Singing for Self-Care, welcome. Some of you I've seen a couple times this week. Welcome back. And I'm going to ask everyone to switch into what's called gallery view. So in the top right corner of your screen, if you're currently in speaker view, you'll see my head really big, and you'll see little faces at the top. And at the top right, you can switch into gallery view where you see everyone's faces. It's a little Rubik's Cube icon. And so go ahead and move into gallery view if you're not already there. We're just going to take a moment to drop into the space together. If you have a way of being in ceremony with yourself and a self-care practice, if you want to light a candle or burn some incense or any other practice, you're welcome to do that. Kind of help us all create a little container to be together in this hour. Just taking a moment to really see every face on your screen. Each with its own story, its own beverage of choice, all in different rooms. Just taking a moment to really welcome these faces and their presence into your own. Seeing and allowing yourself to be seen. We are going through something totally unprecedented right now. And we are all physically alone, but we're having a shared experience. Something I've been reminding myself of a lot. So thank you for being here. I'm going to start with a little breath exercise, and then we're going to have some fun today because yesterday got really heavy. Oof. So today we're gonna up the giggles. So go ahead and put your hands in front of you like so. You're just gonna allow your hands to map what your own breath is doing in the moment. Expanding on the inhalation, moving together on the exhalation. And just trusting your body's wisdom in this moment, not trying to alter the breath, not trying to make it anything different than it is. Just simply allowing your hands to mirror what the breath is doing. And as you drop into your body and the sensation of breathing, and allow your hands and your breath to come fully into alignment with one another. You can play with where your attention rests, moving from your hands to your breath, or back again to your hands. And then slowly inviting your hands to move a little lower in your body. Move back so you can see me. Oh, no, I don't have a head. Until they come to rest in front of the navel. Inviting the breath to deepen, the belly softens, the low back softens, hips softening and widening. What a miraculous thing to breathe with the entirety of my body. And go ahead and introduce an SH sound on the exhalation. And gently rub your palms together, bringing a little warmth into the palms of your hands. And take that warmth all over the body. Almost like you're giving yourself a dry shower. Upside, downside, top side, bottom side. So waking up your whole body, across the collarbone, down the other arm. What a beautiful, miraculous thing it is to have a body that breathes. Inside, outside, top side, bottom side of your legs. Thank you, feet. Thank you, feet, for everything you do. Sometimes I forget about you, but you never forget about me. And other leg. This is the point where in self-care singing where we kick off our shoes. And let out a nice sigh. Ah, woo, feels good. Ah, wee. Woo! Ah! Woo! Hey! Yeah! No! Ugh! Ugh! Whee! Who else feels like they're on a roller coaster lately? Yes, I talk a lot about the voice as a tool of expression and release. And one of the things we're going to do tomorrow is talk about how to craft your own self-care singing practice. And so we're going to go into that tomorrow. Today, however, 2 days ago, we spent some time blowing up the notion of bad. So the number one thing that singers talk about when they come into my studio for lessons, or when they come into one of my group classes, my cats are going crazy, when they come into one of my group classes, is that I don't want to sing and sound bad. Does anyone else resonate with that feeling? I definitely have that feeling. Yeah, right? It's like, okay, I love to sing, but like I just, I don't know, I don't want to sing and sound bad, right? And what we learned on Tuesday, I think, again, what is time and space, is that everyone has their own specific version of what bad really means. Because bad is a subjective construct that we learn. We learn to define what bad means. And then we use that definition of bad and limit ourselves to only making quote unquote good sounds. And so that's a lot of where we spent our time on Tuesday, is kind of like, okay, what does it mean to, like, what does bad mean to me? And how can I expand the prison of what is only good so that I can now have access to my entire voice, all of its abilities and all of its range and power and expressive intent. So if that sparks your curiosity and you weren't with us on Tuesday, all of the episodes are uploaded, and I'll talk more about that as we go along. So you have that available to you as a resource. But I would be remiss as a teacher if I let you all leave one of my classes, even though this is totally impromptu, knowing that bad is a fuzzy made-up construct, but not knowing how else to talk about sound. Because in removing the word bad as useful, or just saying that bad is not necessarily a helpful term for singing, we then want to kind of invite in a new way of being with sound and a new way of describing sound. And so that's what we're going to talk about today, and we're going to explore today. And yes, that's where we're going. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of just tuning into the body and experiencing sensation. It is true in the voice that whatever feels good, whatever feels healthy, easeful, expressive, pleasurable, whatever feels good in the body always sounds good. So if it feels good to you to make a certain sound, it always is in service to good, healthy singing. That is also true of emotional expression in the voice. Sometimes it can feel really good to just like scream into a pillow and like let it all out. And that can like feel like a huge release. Obviously, something like that, do you want to like do that all day long? No, of course not. It's like, pretty intense for the voice. Are you going to hurt yourself by expressing that kind of emotion and letting it out of the body? Absolutely not. Especially if you don't do it like, for a long extended period of time. So learning to sing as a self-care practice is learning to tune into the body about what feels good to you and your voice, and getting away from the ideas of good and bad, what's allowed and not allowed, what can I do and what can I not do, and really moving much closer to home. What feels good for me and my body in this moment today, given where I am today, and what needs to come through. So that's where we're coming from today, okay? So I want to talk a little bit about the structure of the body to just give you kind of some helpful ideas as we move into this. First, I want you to find just like a small object that you could pick up off the floor. So you could like drop a pencil, or, if you want to put your phone on the floor. We're going to do a little experiment where you're just bending down and picking up something off the floor. If you have any like physical limitations that make that difficult or dangerous for your body, don't. You can just put it on the desk in front of you and pick it up, okay? But I'm going to use my phone. I'm going to put it on the ground, okay? And first, I'm just going to go ahead and pick it up as my body naturally wants to. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick up my phone. You can do this with me, okay? Got it. Okay. Notice what you notice in your body, if anything. Okay, now put it back on the floor. And this time, you're going to scrunch your head down on your spine, just like this. And now, with your head scrunched, go ahead and pick it up again. Notice what you notice in your body. Ugh. Yep. Okay, so now go ahead and put it down again. Yeah, I need to shake it out. We're already getting some feedback, right? Body's already telling us some really useful information. Okay, and now I want you to point on your body to the place where your skull connects with your spine, where your head connects with your spine. Huh? So I see most people pointing to the back of the neck, right? Right about back here, which is the most common answer. And physiologically, it's technically incorrect because your spine is in the center of your body. So your spine is actually right between your ears, the place where your skull connects to your spine. If you take one hand left to right and kind of like right at your ear hole, and you draw an imaginary line through your head, the weight bearing the vertebra of your spine is right in the middle of your neck. Same thing front to back. So if you take a finger on your nose and a finger on the back of your head, and first just ask yourself, okay, so how much space is between my hands? How big is my head, in other words? And then right between, wherever the center line is where your spine connects to your skull. Does that blow anyone's mind? My spine isn't where I thought it was. Whoa! So what we're doing right now is what's called body mapping. So we all have an idea of how the body is constructed based on picture books we read when we were kids, suppositions that we make, things that we've been told about how the body is constructed. And it may or may not be actually anatomically accurate. And we all have a body map. And the mind is so powerful that if I have a belief about how the body is constructed, if I believe that my spine is back here, I'm more likely to sit and walk and move in accordance with that idea. So if I believe that this is where the spine is, I'm going to try and make this the center point of my balance. So I'm going to sit like this. Does that feel familiar to anyone? Yeah. However, if I just remind myself, and there's nothing that you need to do, it's not that you need to make your spine anywhere else, but just by reminding yourself, okay, my spine is actually directly in the center of my head, and my head balances on my spine, kind of like a plate that's spinning on a stick, or like a spin jammer. You guys ever have one of those Frisbees when you're a kid? Put your finger in the middle of it and the Frisbee spins around it. The head balances on the spine just like that, at the center. So now with that idea, if my head just gently balances at the center, means there's equal weight in the front as there is in the back, equal weight side to side, meaning that the external muscles of my neck can soften because the internal structure is what's doing the supporting. I'm allowing my bones to support me rather than relying on muscle groups. So now with that idea, go ahead and pick something up off the floor again, just allowing your head to remain balanced on your spine. Just that gentle thought. Okay, we're gonna do one, like just another round of that. So now scrunch your head down. It's gonna feel really weird this time, right? And now pick something up from the floor again. Notice what your body does. Okay, shake it out. Ugh. And now go back to that gentle idea that the head simply balances on the spine. You don't have to do any work to hold it up, just by thinking and allowing it to have ease and movement. Not that it needs to be stuck in one place, but just, oh yeah, oh nice, oh yeah, the muscles on the outside of my neck can just be nice and soft. And in fact, my body is perfectly designed to hold up my head by resting down the spine, all the way through the torso, all the way down to the sits bones of the pelvis. Okay? Anybody want to share any insights that you just received from your own body? Did that awaken any curiosity of yours or a realization of something that felt different when you scrunch the neck down versus when you think of the head balancing on the spine? Yeah, Nikki, what information did your body give you? Whoop. I think we're fighting. There you go.
This is a common theme for me, figuring out how not to raise my shoulders in tension. So yes, you resonate with me to make the neck muscles soft. Mm-hmm. They are prone to tense up with fear and anxiety and concentration, and sometimes I thought that I slouched basically because I had lazy abdominal muscles. Well, that might be a problem too. But it's also that idea of where's my head?
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Nikki. I have a teacher, so those of you who don't know, I study the Alexander Technique, which is a beautiful, beautiful modality. And one of my teachers, her name's Kathy Madden, she's in Seattle. She says that human beings do everything perfectly based on what we believe to be true. And it's so true. I'm gonna say it again. Human beings do everything perfectly based on what we believe to be true. So exhibit A is if I believe that my spine is in the back here, or if I believe that I have to hold myself up in order to have good posture, rather than working with my body's natural design, I'm gonna have different results, basically. So one of the things that I have gravitated towards in my own study of the voice is, okay, if I'm doing something that causes me pain, vocally or physically, what do I believe to be true? Right? Do I believe that singing takes a lot of force and I have to work really hard? Because if so, I'm going to be acting in accordance with that belief. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Keith, did you want to share something as well?
Yeah. I practice Feldenkrais almost daily. One of the ideas is very similar, I think, in concept there. And I was just going to say that I was able to access what I think you were talking about really, really easily by standing, because I kind of felt that feeling of ease by balancing, like from my like I was like on a tall ladder, and I could just allow my body to, because it's constantly recalibrating if it's aligned on all the joints, is my belief. And so I felt it really strongly by standing, and then having the head kind of be a little toggle over top of the feet and the
Thank you, Keith. Yeah, I totally agree with you there. I always say that balance is an active movement that gives the illusion of stillness. Balance is an active movement that gives the illusion of stillness. So if we are balancing, we are constantly in motion, because the breath is always moving us. Human body is always in motion. Beautiful. Thank you so much. We're going to talk about how to describe sound. So this is one of my very favorite things to do. I'm going to share a document with you all. Let me know if you can see this. Can you see that sound spectrum document? Okay. So as we move away from terminology that is good, bad, black and white, we can move into more of a curiosity paradigm where it's like, okay, I just made a sound. How do I describe that sound? And then it doesn't become so much a conversation about like, ooh, me and my voice is bad, versus, oh, I just made a sound and that sound is described as breathy. Do I like or dislike that? And then if so, whatever way I go with that, do I want to continue doing that or do I want to move away from that? And then I can start playing with variables and getting curious and trying new things with my voice, okay? So I'm gonna give you a few kind of examples of sound that fall somewhere on the sound spectrum. And then we're gonna, as a group, learn how to describe these sounds. Not all of the sounds that I will give will sound pretty, and not all of them will be like beautiful or things that you want to hear. Those of you who know me know that I'm a classical musician, so that realm of my life, I like do pretty sounds constantly. And this realm of my life where I'm like using voice as a healing modality, I get to get out all my wiggles and all of my like nonsense, okay? So the first step in learning to recognize this is, how does my body react to the sound? Do I clench down and kind of move away from it? Or do I open and go, oh, I love that sound. That sounds amazing, right? And in that is the information, do I like or dislike this sound? The second thing that we want to bring our attention to is the sound consistent or does it change over time? Because that gives us a lot of information. And then how would I describe the sound on this sound spectrum that we're going to talk about, okay? So first sound being simple little sound, right? So first, just notice, how does your body react to this sound? And you can do it with me, so you can experience your own voice. Do you feel an opening and relaxing or a clenching and tightening? Just noticing. And then, if we were to describe the sound on a spectrum, we use language to talk about sound much the same way that we would talk about like texture or like paintings. So if you look at a piece of art, you might use words like muted or dark or pastel or bright or thick, complex, rich, any of those words. You can use those same words to describe sound. So in this one, the sound is relatively consistent. If it were inconsistent, it might sound like or you can hear the sound is kind of changing as it goes along. Do you guys hear that? So now if I do, that's consistent. Sound is inconsistent, okay? Pressed to breathy talks about how we're using the breath. So pressed would be, ooh. Do you hear the tension and the pressure in that? Ooh. There's a pressed sound. A breathy sound. Ooh. Ooh. There's a lot of air moving through. You can try that with me, okay? You can use words that describe your experience of singing. Is this a feeling that is like really labored and I feel like I'm working really hard for it? Or does this feel pretty easy? Dark and bright, I love to describe through animal sounds. So everyone do, if you've seen Finding Nemo and Dory speaks whale, I speak whale. Everyone do it with me. I speak whale. That's a really dark sound. That's what we call darkness in the voice, okay? Brightness would be like, wee, wee. Yeah, feel how that one kind of has more like sparkle and more like play and kind of cutting. Wee. Whoa. Wee. Whoa. Yep, exactly. You can also use words like warm and cold, similar to dark and bright. A warm sound tends to have more like richness in it. Oh. Oh. Whereas a cold sound has a little bit more like transparency in the tone. Ooh. Ooh. Basically what you're hearing is that there's, and I don't know if it's translating over the speaker, but there's fewer higher partials in the sound. So if we got into a discussion of acoustics, that's where this really kind of gets subtle and playful. But it's also just using your imagination. And like, does this sound warm to me? Or does this sound kind of cold to me? And it's subjective, there's no really right answer, but it does exist on spectrum, okay? And then going on, there's more and more kind of like nuances that you can use to play with how to describe sound. So nasal and non-nasal is a really easy one. I want everyone to take your arm like this. This is your nasality arm, okay? Okay, so here is, if you say the word sing, sing. In that word, air goes through your nose rather than through your mouth. At the end, the last sound, the NG sound. Sing. So nasality happens when the soft palate is down and air goes through the nose instead of the mouth. And then when the soft palate lifts, you get a sound that is non-nasal. Ah. And so you can play with your nasality arm and do It's kind of fun, right? So you get like nasal and non-nasal, and you can start hearing this in the tone. If I'm singing and I do, there's a lot of sound that's kind of coming through my nose, or na 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 na. Lots of sounds coming through my nose. A lot of air is coming through my nose, and I get more nasal resonance. Versus na 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 na. That one, there's no air coming through my nose, so less nasality. okay? So the way that we're gonna play with this is with animal sounds, okay? So I want everyone to make a cow sound. What sounds do cows make? Okay, I'm not gonna demonstrate, I want you to do it on your own. Biggest cow sound. And go even bigger. And now I'll do it with you. Moo. Moo. Yep. Okay, so moo, is that moo sound a sound that is dark or more bright? And let's see. This is do. I'm gonna see if I can, nope, that's not what I want. Okay. Okay, I don't know if I'll be able to get you guys to talk to me while we're in screen sharing, but raise your hand if you think it's dark. Moo. And raise your hand if you think it's bright. Yeah, definitely a dark sound, right? Okay, so now monkey screech. Give me a monkey screech. Dark or bright? Bright. Yes, definitely. Absolutely. Okay, so we can continue playing with these, but what I would like to do now is we're going to go into a little bit of spirit singing. So we did this yesterday. Spirit singing is a meditative form of singing where every breath that you bring in is an inquiry of what's here in the body that needs to be expressed. Every exhalation of sound is whatever needs to be expressed in that moment. This is a really beautiful practice. If you don't know what sound to make at all, you can always start with the I don't know sound, which is or just it can just be stupid and dumb sounds. It can also be a practice of kind of going inward and finding really like what's here that needs to be expressed. And the reason we do this in cyclical form is that as you're breathing in and out, you don't give yourself time to think. And oftentimes the thoughts when we're singing venture along those good and bad. Oh, that was a good sound. Oh, that was a bad sound. I shouldn't do that sound again. Oh, that was a good sound. That was a bad sound. But what I'd like you to practice in this spirit singing exercise is noticing if the brain wants to tell a story about whether the sound is good or bad. And then inviting curiosity about how you might describe that sound. Do you hear breathiness in it? Does your body warm or tighten, expand, or want to express with the sound that you're giving? And that in this exercise, there is no good and bad. All sounds are welcome. So you can be loud, you can be nasal, you can be ugly, you can be harsh, you can be pissed off, you can be sad, you can be tender, you can be crying, you can be screaming, you can be giving solace, you can be singing to your fluffy animal companion or someone who you're sitting with. Everything is available in this moment. And I want to encourage you to use descriptive language rather than binary language for the sounds that your own voice makes. And this is a practice. It may be really new, but as we move into this, just inviting yourself to be curious. How would I describe this sound? What does my body have to say about this sound? Okay? So I'm going to send you a link in the window to a Shruti box. You are welcome to use the Shruti box. Oops, I just sent it to one person. There it is. So you can open this in another window and use the Shruti box, remembering that every inhale is through the nose, every exhale is whatever needs to be expressed. Don't give yourself time to think. You're just kind of making sound and releasing whatever needs to be released in this moment. You're all on mute. You have permission to make sound. You can also do this exercise without the Shruti box if you just want to have playtime. But I am going to go back and share the sound spectrum to give you some idea. No, I'm not actually. Just want you to kind of like play, and then we're going to get together at the end and share some insights. So a little bit of free playtime right now, and then we'll meet back together. Have fun. I'm going to do it too. You can go ahead and bring this little moment of spirit singing to a close. Some pretty awesome smiles on this screen. Yes. So what insight does your voice have for you today in this moment? What wisdom are you receiving from your own voice and body through this practice you would like to share? Marlon.
Hi. I woke up with a pretty bad case of the I don't wannas. And apparently my I don't wanna sounds like a frog. And what I discovered as I found that sound, which A, I didn't know was there, and B, like as the breath runs out, I can have like a whoosh at the end, but like the frog is done. Like I can't keep making the in the back of my throat. But as I moved my lips, like at the beginning, it felt kind of like a uncomfortable sound. And by the end of it, I was like laughing at myself because I could move my lips and like change the shape of my lips and make the sound really different.
Yes, 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 yes. There's so much wisdom in that. There's so, yes. It's like everything about voice work is that so much of what is unsaid, unexpressed is just the beginning of something that's going to turn into, can transform through the course of an exhale. And being brave enough to really allow those sounds that like maybe are like a little weird or like kind of we categorize as bad or ugly or not acceptable, like allowing those the space just in a practice where no one else is around and no one's listening to you, giving yourself permission to make those sounds and follow them can have so much wisdom. Thank you for sharing that. Yes. Yeah. What else did our voices share with us this morning? Yeah, Yvonne.
I found that my exhale became longer and longer the longer that I did it.
Mm-hmm. What a relief. Yeah, beautiful. Well seen. Yeah, Amanda.
For me, I think the most important thing was the beginning, just permission to make whatever sound was asking to be made. You know, how often do we take time to just like let anything out versus like being thoughtful and intentional about what comes out of our mouths? And then sometimes when we're not thoughtful and intentional, what comes out of our mouths without knowing that we're regret later, you know, to just give permission to not necessarily speak, but to sound whatever wanted to come out was great. And it made me laugh a lot. Like it brought me a lot of joy, just the fact that I get to do whatever, you know, and it was a great experience to kind of go inward and just be in the world for a minute.
Absolutely. Very cool. Thanks for sharing your experience. Well seen. Yeah. Dana?
I love the vibration. I just loved feeling the vibration, and then I almost felt it like rippling out like through my body and then through my surroundings. I just started feeling connected to the whole world.
Absolutely. What a powerful experience. Thank you. Any other insights? Moments of discoveries? Yeah, Keith?
I surprised myself by how much grief came out. I just had tears and stuff emerge that I didn't know was right there under the surface.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. I don't think that you're alone in that. At least that was also my experience. Yeah. The voice has a magic to it. And it is an incredible tool for self-discovery that is available to you in isolation. There's a higher knowing of the voice and sound, and your own voice will never hurt you. So giving permission for sound and releasing whatever needs to be released. In the process, you might notice that the mind wants to tell stories or might want to attach meaning to any given sound, but it doesn't need to. It's not essential. It's not wrong, but it's not essential. And so in giving the voice permission to just move what needs to be moved, express what needs to be expressed, can be such a powerful tool of self-centering. And in the practice of allowing yourself to be heard, first and foremost by yourself, really hearing your own voice and allowing your own voice in all of its complexity and all of its darkness and all of its light out into the room is a really beautiful practice. So if that is the only practice that you take from this little series and adventure that we're on together, I will be so grateful. And I just wish that everyone could know what an incredible tool this is. Yeah, it's really why I'm on this planet. So feel free to spread the word. Nikki, did you want to say something?
Yeah. So yesterday in the afternoon near sunset, I took a hike in the woods in our surrounding area. These are woods that Emma knows well. And I sang Go Slow. And I didn't realize how strongly that would keep me company and soothe me. So that was great. Thank you for the gifts you've given and the uplifting of these 2 weeks, because the onset of this isolation might have been even more destructive to my spirit if there hadn't been this moment to get up for. Every day. Thank you.
Me too.
Yeah.
I needed this group as well. Thank you, Nikki. I actually would love to sing Go Slow in closing. But before we do that, tomorrow's class is going to be really special. Got something really cool that I'm excited about planned. It's going to be the last live one in this iteration. This community has been like so profound, and what's developing here and all of the ideas and imagination and just brilliant little faces that have been popping up every morning. Like, I'm hoping that we will meet again. And so if you're not already, definitely get on my mailing list and I'll keep you in the loop. I talked a lot at the beginning about receivership and the nobility of the art of receiving. And that a lot of the times at least in dominant culture, the dominant narrative is that the opposite of giving is taking. We literally say it like, oh, it's a give and take. And I have learned that the opposite of giving is truly receiving, and that there's a difference and a softness in allowing oneself to receive, and a femininity that is not gendered or based on bodies. So I have been holding this as a gift, and I can sense in my own spirit that like my time for giving is, my cycle of giving is nearing its completion, and that I'm ready to do some receiving. And so tomorrow will be our last class live, at least in the current iteration. So feel free to invite anyone you know who would enjoy receiving the gifts of the voice and of singing for self-care. And we'll do a little practice together. And then next week, I'm actually gonna do like a self-care singing challenge or collective group thing. So you'll get an email of one of these classes every day of the week so that we can all be doing this together, and you can do it based on your own schedule, and anyone is welcome to do it. And I'm gonna ask you all to maybe like post a selfie to social media, or just to let people know that this is a resource and it's free and it's open and accessible to everyone. If you have I always say, if you have a mind, body, spirit, and voice, you are welcome in my classes, and that this is available. So we will be in solidarity. I will probably be doing it with you. I'll just be doing it on my own. And so the invitation is to really invest in your own voice and use all of the tools that we've learned from this class together and be in community in that way. So tell everyone you know to come to class tomorrow. It's gonna be really sweet. So thank you all for being here and for showing me what radical community can look like. Some of you I just met through this course, and it's been really sweet. So thank you. And let's sing Go Slow. If you don't know this one yet, it's a really sweet one, you'll pick it up. And find the beat on your body. Go slow. Go slow. Go slow. Go slow. She takes her time. She goes so slow. She takes her time. She goes slow. Oh, go slow. Go slow. Go slow. Go slow. She takes her time. She goes so slow. She takes her time. She goes so slow. Oh, go slow. Go slow. Go slow. Slow down. Yay. Can I take a picture of everyone? Will you all give me like your faces? Yay! 1, 2, 3. Yay. Thank you all. Go slow. There is time for slowness. There's always time for slowness. Yeah. Thank you all. If you're not on my mailing list, go to my webpage. Hold on for a second and I'll send you the link. So yeah, if you're not already on my mailing list, you can visit this link on my website. You'll find all the archived classes and you can enter your email address and then you'll be in the loop for whatever the next iteration of this is. I'm sure that there will be one. And you'll also get notices about the Self-Care Singing Collective group endeavor of love and miraculousness and returning to the self and empowerment that will be happening next week. So would love to have each of you involved in that and spreading the word and inviting anyone who needs it. So thank you all. Beautiful. Bye all. Bye, bye, bye. I'll hang out so you can make sure to open that link in case you need it. All right, everyone got it who needs it? Wait, I'll wait. Okay, I got you, Keith. I won't leave you.